Welcome, welcome to fourth and nine to victory. It is that time. It is that time. USC Trojans coming off a monster win at home in the Coliseum against the Michigan Wolverines. But now that's in the rearview mirror, and we're focused on this Saturday as we go to Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend to take on the Fighting Irish of Notre. I don't even like saying it, but the
Right,
Fighting Irish
right.
Notre Dame. Possibly, we don't know. Maybe the last time that we'll be playing them in this series. This rivalry dates back, 100 years, man, and it's just
Right.
it's it's a possibility that this is it. So definitely a game we want to win, not only for that, to keep those bragging rights in case that it do get canceled, but just because where we're headed in the season and everything that's in front of us, this would be a monster win, a monster win. So, man, we're going to get right into it. This is our pregame review. We break down our film study and things that we watch on Notre Dame, kind of talk about what we can expect from them, what we see through film from them offensively and defensively, and how we attack them. We'll go through our down series, look at some keys to victory for USC, our projected players of the week from this game, as far as USC wise, and go through our film study, man. You ready to get into it, B?
Let's get straight to it, my man.
All right. As always, we'll go into our first segment. Mama, there goes that man. Again, this segment is dedicated to an individual on Notre Dame that we have to stop. We have to contain. We can't let beat us, right? We can't hear their name constantly being called because they're making plays. As well as we're going to name a person on USC that we got to keep hearing their name being called during this game. And we want to hear their name being called because it's going to lead us to a victory and lead to our success. So let's get it going. Mama, there goes that man again. Who on Notre Dame's team is that guy that we can't keep hearing this name called? We can't let it beat us. And then you can go into the USC player that we need their name to be continuously called.
Right, right. Well, the kid that I'm talking about, or excuse me, the young man that I'm going to talk about for a minute here, we're familiar with him, Mr. Love, the running back. Dangerous guy out of the backfield. I mean, right now, this season, he has about 530 yards rushing, 8 TDs. But what's most importantly is he's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. You and I speak about it all the time. Yeah, hey, look, we're going to cut down those yards per carry on the running back. That's how we get the three and outs, right? Or force them into passing plays. But um, for my liking, we're gonna have to slow down that rush. We're gonna have to load that box similar to what we did last week when we took away Michigan's strength. And I hate to have to keep going back to that game, but that's what led to so much success for us against that rushing attack and against that physical line play. So we're gonna have to be physical at the point of attack, fill those gaps, be gap disciplined, and make sure that we wrap up. It's going to be a wet field out there, so turnovers might become an issue for both teams. But most importantly, slipping off of those running backs. This guy has a powerful lower half of his body. He's very athletic. You saw him jump over a few of our players, maybe one or two of our players in the past before, especially last season when we faced off against them in the college. So for me, it's going to have to be the running back, Mr. Love.
Most definitely, man. And your USC player.
My USC player, the name that I'm going to have to keep hearing. Everybody's going to say our running back, Mr. King Miller, or either Makai Lemon. Those are the easier picks. Me, I'm going to have to keep hearing our tight end, Mr. Lake McCree, or more so, even importantly, Mr. Walker Lyons. I want to go with Walker Lyons. He's been pretty reliable catching that ball, up the seams in the middle of the field where we've been able to find some success. You mentioned it last week on our game recap that, or maybe you mentioned it on somebody else's show that our tight ends get caught balls for close to 100 yards, which was most importantly because you think about Makai Lemon and and Jacoby Lane getting doubled on the outside, what's going to be wide open? The middle of the field. Who's that designed for? The tight ends. I even saw a tight end screen in which number 87 caught and was headed to the end zone when he had that fumble. And I'm sure he was going to bounce back from that. But for me, the name that I'm going to have to hear in order for this offense to be successful on Saturday and possibly come out with the W is Mr. Walker Lyons, our tight end.
I kind of see where you stand all the way for the third down question, which you saying possibly, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So mama, there goes that man. For me, of course, it's going to be Jeremiah Love. Everything they do is built off of him. We know him well. He ran amok against us last year in the Coliseum, over us, through us, past us. He is that guy for them. Not only running the ball, but they motion him out a lot, especially if it's man coverage and get him matched up on a linebacker or safety. He's a great route runner, and he's catching the ball phenomenal this year and doing big damage in the pass game. So not just only the run game. This week presents a different challenge, right? Last week's Michigan running back was averaging 7+ yards as well, but the bulk of his yards were coming off of having one big 60, 40-yard run a game, right? He wasn't throughout the season. He wasn't consistently, eating at them yards. Jeremiah Love presents a whole different type of beast because a lot of his yards are 70 yards, consistently running the ball, and he has the ability to break that big run, right? So it's going to be a lot about. Last week was more about containing him, being gap sound and not letting him get off that one big run and make him have to earn it down the field if he's going to get you for 150, 160 yards. With Jeremiah Love, it's a whole different ball game because what he presents not only in the run game and the pass game. So this is a guy that we can't let beat us. We have to make their quarterback beat us, right? So that is one player on Notre Dame we can't keep hearing his name called. As far as the USC side, the name I think we're going to have to hear over and over again is Brian Jackson. It's supposed to be raining, right? Our ground game is going to have to get going. If you can remember 2 years ago when we went to South Bend with Caleb Williams and our run game couldn't get going and we were getting beat up front. I mean, they basically was just rushing 3, dropping 8. There was nowhere to throw into. And before we knew it, we was down and that crowd was involved.
Trying to press. Trying to press.
We start pressing. He ended up throwing 3 or 4 interceptions that game.
I think he threw 3 picks that game, but I think that was more so of an issue that Riley just got away from the run. I don't know why, because like you said, they were dropping 8 and leaving 3. So
I just got we were getting beat. It's because we were getting beat up. We was getting beat up front, and the run game wasn't doing anything.
But if 5 linemen can't block 3 players, then you got a serious issue.
We seen it last year. We seen it the year before. We seen it, right? So it's but this defense is nowhere near the caliber of the defense that they had the last 2 years, especially up front. But as far as Brian Jackson, I think his name needs to be called. Getting 3 and 4 yards a pop, right? We don't have Waymon Jordan. Waymon Jordan was leading the nation in yards after contact, right? And Brian Jackson can do that. We've seen him do that. Not only that, is that we're going to have a 2-head monster with him and King Miller, but at this point in his career, by far, Brian Jackson is the more accomplished blocker of the two.
Right.
And going to South Bend with all the noise, it's a lot to ask a redshirt freshman, first time playing in an environment like this to go out and perform like he did at home. Right.
Pick up a bunch of blitzes. Yeah.
And to go out and perform like he did at home. I do expect him to still have a good game, but I do expect Brian Jackson to be the one that's body blow. Here come King Miller with the knockout shot once we've been winning him down. So we definitely got to hear Brian Jackson's name. All right. Moving right along to our second segment. USC keys to victory. What are your keys to victory for USC to go? Well, we are the underdog, so to go to South Bend and upset Notre Dame.
Stay in balance, just like Riley has been doing all season long. He promised us before the season that he was going to have a more balanced approach when calling plays. He was going to average just about the same amount of run plays They did pass plays. Just so happened that we're currently right now we're sitting, as one of the top teams in the country. I think maybe top 10, top 15 was rushing the ball. We're averaging a little bit over 200 yards per game at like maybe 220. So that's something that we haven't seen since Riley has been in Los Angeles when he came there in 2022. It's been more so of, set up the run off of the pass. But now I've seen a change. And it's true that a Tiger can change his stripes. So for me, it's going to have to be, more the same. Keeping the defensive guessing on which formations or which sets to come out in because of our balanced attack. Whether or not we're running counter, whether or not we're running a zone stretch play, or whether or not we're running an RPO. With reading the defensive end to see if he's crashing, waiting on the linebackers to step up, throwing it to our dynamic receivers on the outside, such as Makai Lemon, or maybe even hitting the tight end in the middle of the field. I do think that they are going to blanket Makai Lemon to keep him from being from giving up so many explosive plays. I don't know whether or not they're going to force us to run, but if they force us to run, I think we can do that. But one thing we're going to have to do is, for certain, is hang on to that ball.
So my keys to victory is you're going to hear this weekly because our keys to victory, the offense is the offense, and the offense is really good, and the offense is going to continue to do what it's do. At this point, our offense is the top offense in the nation. And so, again, the attention is going to be on defense. And so what we have to do is the same thing that we were calling for Illinois, same thing against Michigan, right? We're going to have to stop the run, right? Notre Dame, they are a run-first team. They want to be aggressive and powerful with the run, right? Because that opens up everything for them. So first and foremost, have to stop the run, right? Don't have to shut it down, but just have to stop the run. Don't give up 46 yards on first down on the ground or any other downs consistently, right? Load the box, stay with the 4-3. We can run the 4-3. They run a lot of 12 man. They do come out with a lot of 3 wide receiver sets and things like that. Or if they don't, they'll motion their running backs out and use the running back as a third. When they do that, we still can stay in the 4-3 because Gentry and Stevenson is athletic enough to cover. At this point in his career, I do think Stevenson is better in actually covering, right? And filling the run right now as a young linebacker because he has that safety experience and he's fast and he's agile. We've seen him do it against Penn State and a few other teams last year where he came up with big interceptions. There are going to be some times we have to go to the 4-2-5, but the key to success is we need to come out in their 3 linebacker set again, stop the run, make their quarterback beat us. And also on offense, we have to did I think I froze up? Did I freeze up, man?
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. On offense, I need to on offense. It got me off my head because I thought I was froze. On offense, we need to start fast, right? We need to come out, score. Defense get us a stop like in Michigan, score again. Jump out early, help our defense stop their run by going up and making them abandon the run, which they want to do. Can't turn the ball over. The weather is not going to be that great. Can't have turnovers, right? Can't have costly penalties and the crazy penalties, the pre-snap and post-snap penalties. Can't have it, right? And at all costs, protect the football. Can't have turnovers. We want to get that crowd out the game, get them hushed up, right? And do it early. And so jump out fast, stop the run. Another big key is going to be tackling in space and gang tackling. If one person is going for a tackling, somebody else needs to be there coming to clean it up because Jeremiah Love is very, very tough to tackle one-on-one. Their backup running back, Price, as well. He's more of a, the power guy, but both of them are great at breaking tackles and winning those one-on-one battles in the open field with a tackler. So we have to make sure we tackle well, especially in space and gang tackle. Stay aggressive, and everyone keeps coming and rallying to the ball. All right, moving on. First down. Your scouting on Notre Dame offense and how USC should attack them on defense.
Scouting on offense, of course, their main weapons, like we said, we've been talking about it during our moment. There goes that man, Mr. Love. But you also mentioned it that they have another running back too, Mr. Price. So they definitely have a dynamic duo. They definitely have a dynamic duo when it comes to having the options of running that ball. One is a power back, like you said, but Mr. Love is more so of an all around back. But the quarterback can spin it. Um, the top receiver, Mr. Folsom, currently has 375 yards on 29 receptions, but he only has two TDs. But they also have a vulnerable tight end, Mr. Raritan. He's 6'7", 245 pounds. He's got a bunch of yards, but hadn't had that much success. Reaching the end zone, But for me, I think um, that the most important thing is going to be is like you said, stopping that run. It may come down to if we can get enough traction on that field. Depends on how bad it's raining. It might come down to a shootout. We just airing the ball out. They're trying to stop our run. We're trying to stop their run. So I'm not sure how about attacking that because they are just as balanced as well. For me, like I always say, I'd rather you kill me quick than to kill me slow. So I'm going to stop the run, and hopefully their quarterback, Mr. Carr, has an off day. Maybe I'll overthrow a couple players. Maybe we could speed up his clock, play some press coverage on the outside, bump him and throw him off of their route, throw off his timing. So for me, it's to load up the gaps. Same thing we did against Michigan. Wrap up, get to the guy, be disciplined, be gap disciplined, and get the running back onto the ground.
All right. So of course, it's the typical Notre Dame. They like to run a lot of two tight end sets. Like I said, we're going to be facing a different type of run game than what we faced last week. Last week, Michigan was more zone, and this year they start running a lot of outside zones more. Notre Dame likes to run straight downhill, power, and ISOs. I don't think anyone pull their tight ends as much as Notre Dame does, right? Their tight ends are pull and go through the A and B gap as basically a lead blocker. You know what I mean?
They got some big boys. Yeah, they got some big boys.
They're pulling like they tackles and guards, but they do that great in their run game, even on their quarterback run game, right? They'll go an empty set and their tight end will pull from his position right through the A gap, leading the quarterback through there. They don't run the quarterback as much as they did last year because Riley Leonard was, a pretty physical, tough runner. But they still have it in their arsenal. They do it a lot. They attack you in different ways with the run game. Jeremiah Love, expect to see him in the Wildcat, especially if it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Off of that, they haven't shown it this year, but expect on the pivotal down for him to not actually run it and he finally pop open with a pass, right?
Right.
Special teams is not really considered, offense, but it's the punt team. They'll run punt fakes. They ran one against us last year, and they've ran a couple this year as well and been successful on it. So and they did it in the playoffs. So Marcus Freeman will dial out punt fakes. Two great running backs, Love and Price. This backfield is better than the backfield we played last week.
Right.
Love and Price is legit. Their leading receiver, right? Jordan Faison is their leading receiver. He only has 29 catches, 376, and 2 TDs on the year. Outside, there's no one at wide receiver that really scare me, right? As far as just being a burn burner, a road runner, or anything like that. Their game is all going to be determined off the run game. Their starting center is out. Lately, the offensive line for Notre Dame has played better, but it's due to the competition. You look against Miami and Texas A&M, their offensive line struggled. Their quarterback, he's looking a lot better, but again, it's due to competition because he hasn't really been pressured since the second game of the year when they lost to Texas A&M. In those games versus Miami and Texas A&M, the offensive line struggled. They was able to pressure him, and they were doing a lot of quick passes and things like that to get his ball out the hand. get the ball out of his hand because of the offensive line struggles. After that against Arkansas, North Carolina State, Boise State. I mean, you can sit back there and count 10 Mississippis. He's just sitting back there looking all across the field with no pressure in his face. So how do we come back to that? I already talked about it. Like, to stop their run, we're gonna have to come back out with that three linebacker set. Yeah, we're gonna have to have those three linebackers in there. Keep Gentry as your queen in chess, like I always say. Keep moving around, put him on the edge to shoot down as he do so good in the run game. Gonna have to tackle in space. Our defensive backs are gonna have to win some battles, right? Because when you load the box, we're gonna have to go to some man, right?
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna have to go to some man, right, to do that. And we're gonna have to pressure the quarterback. So D'Anton Lynn gonna have to dial up those stunts, switch it up. Who's coming? Who's not coming? He had Underwood fluster last week when Fitzgerald came from the safety position on delayed blitz, timed it up beautiful.
Yeah, that was perfect timing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to continue to do those things, right? Stunt with Lucas to the inside, and things like that to confuse. Because again, I know it's Lloyd Carr grandson, but he is a redshirt freshman, and this is his first, year starting, right? He got some experience because we're about mid-season, but show him some different looks, show him some different things, put the ball game in his hand, make him beat you. Again, you cannot let that running game of Notre Dame beat you, just like we couldn't let, going into it, we were saying we can't let Michigan run game beat us. And we were saying the same thing against Illinois, but we allowed it to beat us. But put the pressure on this young man. And we're going to have to, play up front until they can prove they can beat us deep over the top, right? Because what they're going to start doing once the pressure get there, especially if we're having the blitz to get the pressure, they're going to go to the wide receiver screens, running back screens, things to get the ball out of his hand fast to make him comfortable. So if I'm USC, that's how I'm going to attack them based off of what I've seen. Let's move right along. Moving on to second down. Your scouting on Notre Dame defense and how USC should attack them on offense.
How the home team should attack Notre Dame on defense? I mean, on offense.
The home team.
I'm talking about SC.
No, it's the scouting on Notre Dame defense. So what have you seen on film from their defense? What they're
from their defense. Okay.
And then how should USC attack them offensively based off what you've seen?
Well, on defense, I know they like to dial up a lot of pressure. They like to bring pressure off the edges, up the gaps. We definitely gonna have to be. We're definitely gonna have to keep that protection up that we've had all season for Jay Meyer. But so far, he has only been sacked like maybe a total 3 times. But again, we're on the road. The communication is gonna be tough. Jeremy Reed, he's definitely gonna have to be on his A game, calling out those different. Calling out the different coverages, or Maava either changing up the plays to change up the protection behind the line. I'm not sure how well, how comfortable he is with calling audibles at the plays at the offensive line, calling out different protections, changing up his protections. I'm not sure how well versed he is on that yet, in his progression. But they're definitely going to bring some pressure from the outside. From the games that I watched, of course, I didn't catch the Miami and the Texas A&M game, but I did catch that game against NC State. They were able to get a lot of pressure on NC State's quarterback. Now, of course, they did, score some late, but the defense held up pretty well. Now, as far as the front four, I think that's why they bring a lot of pressure, because they're not able to generate that much pressure with just the front four. But the defensive coordinator, he does a good job of dialing up those different blitzes and their timing blitzes as well. So as far as on the outside, they got one good cover corner. From what I understand, they're going to roll him over to Makai's lemon side. Whether or not he's going to play the nickel, I'm not sure. I heard they have 2 freshmen that's playing some nickel because of maybe an injury. On that in their defensive secondary. As far as the linebackers, they're pretty solid at linebacker, but in that secondary, if it's dry enough, I think Riley will test them. But I haven't seen much them be pressured much in that secondary because of the talent that they play. But from the scouting reports, that's what I've heard so far.
All right. They're typical like everybody else is running. Their base is a 4-2-5, but they'll bring out 3 linebackers here and there and go 3 and 4. But their base is 4-2-5. Their linebackers are. This is where the weather bothers me, because in a sunny day, offensively and defensively, we have the speed advantage, and the only thing
Right.
can neutralize that is a wet field. Because their linebackers are not very fast, and their linebackers struggle to cover tight ends and running backs in space. And with those 2 tight ends that we have, that is a bonus on our side. Not only do their linebackers struggle to cover, their defensive backs, right? Leonard Moore is their best defensive back, right? He's up for the Thorpe Award. Outside of him, everyone else can be beat and getting torched. Even in the teams where they're beating Purdue, Boise, North Carolina State, it's bombs over Baghdad, right? If the blitz don't get there, the rush don't get there, it's for 7. Miami, their true freshman wide receiver, ate their defensive backs up. Texas A&M, their wide receivers ate them up. North Carolina State had wide receivers running right past them for touchdown. Same with Purdue. Same with Boise. They struggle in the defensive backfield. That's definitely an advantage that we have with our skill positions, is that they don't cover well. And the reason why is they do a lot of man-on-man coverage. Like you said, they have to send different blitzes because the front 4 cannot get there by themselves. And again, this is a totally different team than the Notre Dame team we seen last year. But even when we seen Notre Dame, what did we do? We ate them up through the air. They could not.
Right.
They could not guard us. One thing about Notre Dame as a team, especially at home, they hold offensive line hold, but especially their defensive back hold. Gray, he was number 29 last year, but I think he switched his number to 3. That corner, he held all last year in every game I seen. He even held against us when he got that pick 6 on Kyron Hudson. It was a pass interference, and they didn't call it.
Right. That's right.
So he holds a lot, and he's still doing that. Is the referees going to call it? We'll see. I forgot to mention that to my USC keys to victory. I was going to tell you, I'm not saying nothing to you Saturday. Unleash on the refs, because they offensive line and they DBs hold so much. And
I know the offensive line holds a lot. I know that
the DBs do too. They've been doing it for 2 years. Like, man, y'all just not gonna call that. But in the pass game, they are susceptible to big plays in the pass game. They've given up big pass games, multiple in every game, and their DBs has been getting torched. Like I said, Leonard Moore is their best one. He can follow Makai Lemon all he wants to. For one, he can't guard Makai Lemon 1-on-1. But if he want to do that, I'll get you that and what we should do. The last thing is they have 15 sacks as a team, but 5.5 of those sacks are by one person. His name is Traore. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but one of their defensive linemen. So he accounts for most of their sacks. So definitely someone we need to look out for. How do we attack this defense? For one is we're gonna continue to run the ball, right? Be more physical with them up front on the line. One thing that they give up a lot of is the run to the quarterback. So this is going to be a game where I expect Jaden Maiava to be able to keep on the zone read, because they have struggled against that and giving up some big plays, or even see Riley bring in Longstreet again for a couple of plays for his zone read, just to open them up, and see what's going on there. What else? Win the trenches. We got to do that. Attack their secondary with man beaters, since they play so much man. I would go ahead and run a lot of crossing routes, straight goals on them when they're blitzing, like we did against Michigan. Throw into those blitzes, right? That'll give you the numbers. That opens it up for big plays. And try to get our players in one-on-one space and open field with them. Their defensive backs struggle to tackle this year. If you go back and look at that Texas A&M game, I mean, wide receivers were breaking tackles and going for 60 yards. And it's been consistent all year that they're not tackling very well on the back end. And so that is how I will attack them. All right, moving on to third down. Expectation for the game, and what do you expect to see happen in this game? And I think B dropped off. He did. All right. So I'll go home and continue by myself. I'm not sure what happened. Uh, but my expectation for this game is the spread is 9.5. USC is underdogs. Going to Notre Dame. This is the 20-year reunion of the Bush Push. I feel like we do cover the spread and we win. I do feel like, I mean, we beat the spread, not cover the spread. 9.5 to me, that's just a lot of disrespect. But I do understand where Vegas and the odd makers are coming from, traveling to Notre Dame, their run game. They were just in the national championship last week. But I do think we win this game. And how we win this game is that the defense is going to make enough stops, right? We're going to put the game again into the young red shirt freshman's hands and make him beat us. And I think Deonton Lynn is going to be able to scheme up enough different blitzes and packages to confuse him to where we can get him off, right? The most important thing to winning this game is going to be winning first down, not giving up 4 to 6 yards on first down. We're going to have to get them in some third and obvious pass situations. That way our pass rushers can do what they do. But I do have us winning this game. My expectation is going to be, well, it was raining, but I still think it's going to be a high scoring game. Last year it was a very high scoring game, but this year I think we're going to win this game. I'm going to say 37-24 that we're going to get Notre Dame at their place. Well, hopefully not to close out the series, but if it is to close out the series, I'm locking it in. All right, gonna move on to fourth down. Our next segment. Fourth down question is our offense and defense of impact players for the game on Saturday. My defensive player I'm gonna go with that I think is gonna be the impact player. Last week I said anybody on the interior of the defensive line, and he definitely was an impact player. So I'm going with that again because I think that's highly important for us to be able to contain and shut down the run to win this game. I'm going to go with Tompkins, right? I think it's going to be a group effort again, all the way across the board, playing physical, being gap sound, linebackers being gap sound, filling the right gaps. But as we get a lead, that Tompkins and those pass rushers are able to unleash. And I'm going to go with Tompkins again. Notre Dame has a backup center playing. I know it's Notre Dame, and it seemed like offensive linemen growing trees there. But this is a different defensive line that they have faced, and I think we're going to have some success there when we go up. And so what I'm going with is Tompkins as my impact player on defense. As far as offense, again, I talked about it, and Mama, there goes that man segment. I'm going to go with B. Jackson. I think he's going to set the tone, get us those hard rush yards, keep it going for us to do that with his pass blocking, which is going to be pivotal, as B said earlier, as they send the blitz. And so I'm going with Tompkins and B. Jackson. Can you hear me, B? Look like you're back.
I can hear you now. Yeah, sorry about that power surge.
All right,
I hear you on the impact players.
Well, I went on, so we're gonna go back to
right, cool. No,
we're gonna go back to third down for you. So it's gonna be all you. So third down is your expectation for the game. The spread is 9.5, right? We're underdogs, right?
Right.
So do we beat the spread and do we win the game, or do we just beat the spread and you have us losing the game?
That's a tough one. Again, if we were in Los Angeles, I would feel a lot better about this game. And you and I, we briefly chatted off air about this. I think we cover. It really depends on how the referees allow how freely
So
they
you saying
allow us to
so
play
you
the
mean
game.
because we don't the spread is so we beat the spread. You saying we beat the
Yeah,
spread?
I think we cover the spread. As far as the winning the game, it's kind of a toss up for me. Of course, I believe in the squad. Don't get that. I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. Um, but for some reason, our luck, in South Bend with those big offensive linemen, they're allowed to hold on the hold the defensive lineman. They're allowed to hold on, in the defensive backfield. It's kind of hard to come out of South Bend. I'm just being honest. And I can remember listening to USC Jay's show earlier today and listening to Jay Walk and his experiences with playing in South Bend and how difficult it is. And the line has, if you notice, the line has been going up in Vegas, for a reason. It started off as 8.5, now it's up to 9.5 on some
Due
gambling
to I
sites.
think it's the
Yeah,
weather.
yeah, due to the weather. So, I guess they're assuming that it's going to be a slow track, which typically it is. It would be a slow track on grass, but on turf, I think they have turf now. So it really
And I
depends on
don't
how you.
and with these new fields and drainage system, I
Right,
don't even like I'm not concerned that the grass will be the issue with it's just
right.
more about wet balls and ball
Yeah,
security.
right. Wet balls and ball security. We've had some issues with turnovers here in the last 3, 4 games. I know dating going all the way back to the Georgia Southern game. We turned the ball over at least once or twice per game. So we definitely gonna have to tighten up on that. As far as us winning the game, of course, I'm always optimistic. I'm going to root for the home team, but this is a tall task. I hope the kids, the guys come out ready to play, stay, follow their assignments. Don't try to do the next man's job, do your job. So I'm going to say, yeah, we cover as far as us winning the game. It's a toss up, but, I'm going to always roll with the home team.
So because we can't cover the spread because we the underdog. So you saying we beat the spread. So you
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
we
that's what
lose
I'm talking about. I'm talking when I said we cover the spread, which means that they're not going to win by more than 9.5.
okay.
That's what I
So
mean.
we
We're
gonna
gonna
beat
we'll cover the spread. Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna beat the spread, so it won't be
right,
9.5.
right.
It can
But
be
if you
nine.
know, yeah, yeah.
It can be
But
nine.
even with that though, Chris, man, 9 is a lot of points, man. To be
I
honest.
mean just two scores, but
Yeah.
um before we move on to get your fourth down, mine was that my expectation is I think it's gonna be high scoring.
You think
Um,
so?
well, I got us winning 34-24. I got us winning by 10. So I think we're gonna win. I think that we're gonna go out. I just for one, and this is all that needs to be said. 20th anniversary of the Bush Push. Let's go.
Mhm.
Spot
Mhm.
on. We win.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. The bush push.
it's
But
our it's our it's our time. We didn't get it done in
yeah,
Illinois. It's like we got it done at home against Michigan.
right,
You got the
right.
confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we know what happened at Illinois. And if we could just come out and defensively, if we can put the same effort that we did Saturday, we win this game by 10. Somehow, some way.
The last time we were dominant against them, it was Caleb's first year. It was 2022.
Well, we
Caleb had
haven't
an
won in
outstanding
South
game.
Bend since we haven't won in South Bend since 2011.
Yeah, 2011. But I'm talking about the last time we were dominant against Notre Dame because I think the last two matchups we lost.
Yeah,
The
it
one that,
was.
yeah, the 2023 and 2024 we lost.
I
I
don't
think.
I don't think 10 points is dominant, but I think
Well, what
it's
I'm saying is, I think Jay Maeva is going to have a Caleb Williams type day from 2022, not 2023, which means that that kid was outstanding that day.
But
Scrambling
here's the
around making
reason. Here's the
plays.
reason. Here's the reason I think Jaden Marvin needs to just have the same type game that he's been having. For
Okay,
one, for one, this defense is a lot better than that defense.
okay,
So he don't have to be Superman. Two, the run game and offensive play calling and everything is totally different from that year, right?
right.
The weapons, Caleb had weapons, but across the board, including tight ends,
Hmm.
all these running backs and wide receiver weapons that he got, Jaden Mava don't have to be Superman for us to win. He just needs to
Right.
play within the system and play how he's been playing. All right, let's
Yeah, yeah.
get
You
on.
make you make a valid point. I agree. I agree with that.
All right, let's get on to your fourth down. So fourth down is your offensive defensive player that you think going to be for USC Saturday. I went with last week I said anybody within the interior of the defensive
Yeah,
line.
right.
But I'm actually gonna go with one that was a standout because I think the same thing happened again. I think we come out focused. We're tired of the disrespect. That we're gonna come out fast, get a lead. Our offense will help the defense stop the run by getting the lead, right? And kind of getting them to go away from their game plan and just want to run. And that's when our pass rushers
Right.
have an advantage, especially inside with them playing a backup offensive line. I know it's Notre Dame and offensive linemen growing trees for Notre Dame, but still it's a
Oh
backup.
yeah. I don't know.
I went with
I
Devin.
don't know where they get those linemen from.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I went with so defensively I went with Devin Tompkins and offensively I went with B Jackson as far as what I said for the Mamas There Goes Their Man segment. So
Okay.
who's your offense and defensive player?
Offensive player again. I think that there are definitely going to be some double coverage on Makai Lemon. You can't put just one guy on him. So I think they're gonna shadow him with somebody, and definitely Jacoby Lane. I'm gonna go back with the tight end. Same thing I did with last week. But I'm gonna go with Walker Lyons. Walker Lyons. So far, knock on wood, he's averaging the same amount of catches as Lake McCree, same amount of yards, but he's holding on to the ball. So I'm going to go Walker Lyons, and on defense, I'm going to go Braylon Shelby. I think D'Anthony is going to look to put some pressure on Carr because the kid can't spin it. But one thing you don't want him doing is sitting back there for 3, 4, 5 seconds, you know, going through his third and fourth progressions to get that ball down the field. So I think Braylon Shelby is going to be the one to put that type of pressure as far as along that defensive line. If you notice, even last week, he was in that backfield quite frequently, around that quarterback. And with his length and with his size, I think that he's just going to be a little too quick on the outside for those big offensive tackles. So I'm going to go Braylon Shelby. I'm going to go Walker Lyons.
All right. All right, down to our last segment called Jobs Not Done. If you didn't join us last week, this is actually something new we started this week, and we will have it at the end of each film study and pre-game review. Last week, B gave a very heartfelt message to the team about what was going on and the disrespect with the coaches, with the Michigan coach, and they talking about they were selling out the collie and all that. And he had a simple message to the team. If you're tired of hearing it, we're trying to do something about it. You have opportunity Saturday, do something about it. You tired of the nation saying you soft, do something about it. You tired of people, do something about it. And like I said during the game, I don't know if the team heard them, but they came out and they did something about it. So we said, let's keep this going. And we started this new segment. I'm going to turn it over to B. This is his solo segment. His job's not done, and it's going to be his encouraging words to the team or advice or whatever he came up with this week for this Notre Dame game. Take it away.
Right. Anything I could do to try to inspire the team, like my running mate Chris said last week, I gave a speech. I don't know whether or not they heard it, and I said, well, hey, look, if you're sick and tired of the media, the sports pundits, these platforms calling you soft, calling you weak, do something about it. And then, like Chris said, they came out and they did something about it. But we can't rest on our laurels. It's good to remember or to reflect on the past of what we did against Michigan, but we can't live in the past, which means that we can't go out there and expect for Notre Dame to perform the way Michigan did or to have the same success without doing something about it. So again, we're on the road. Vegas doesn't believe in you. The polls doesn't believe in you. They got Notre Dame picked for a reason. Okay, that's because your job's not done. That's why you continue to practice, rep after rep, weight bench after weight bench, press after press, squat after squat. Every time you button up that chin strap, tighten up that helmet. Hey, look, you're saying to yourself, the job's not done. You got more work to do. Now, this is going to be a tall task for you. Going in the South Bend, you're fighting the elements. You've been there before against Purdue. You're fighting the referees. You've been there before in the Illinois game. You've been there before. You're fighting against, the stadiums. You're going to see that all season long. You're going to see that against You're going to see that against Oregon. You're going to see that again against Nebraska. So this is nothing new for you. You've been playing this game your entire life. Okay. Why do you keep practicing? Like I said, squat after squat, stadium after stadium, rep after rep. Every time you button up that chin strap and tighten up that helmet, hey, look, you're saying to yourself, the job's not done. That job is not done until you lift that trophy. Again, the nation's perception of you has not changed. They feel like that game against Michigan was an anomaly. It's something that didn't typically happen to Michigan players. Okay, so they don't really believe in you. So you still got more work to do, gentlemen. So when you go on the road, you get ready to face Notre Dame. I want you to keep that same mindset that you had against Michigan. I want you to keep that same feeling in your gut that you had against Michigan. Okay, when they underestimated you, when they disrespected you, especially that coach. You came out and you showed them that, hey, look, you got something else to deal with on your hands. Okay, we're not that soft bunch that you think that we are. Hey, we put on our pads, we put on our shoes one shoe at a time, our pants leg one pant leg at a time, just like you do. All right. So look, when you go out there to the South Bend and your back's up against the wall, you might even be down. Okay, continue to believe in each other and get the job done.
Man, can can I suit up? I'm
Let's get to it, man. Let's get
Hey, I'm
to it.
ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to suit up.
Let's get to it, man. I'm
Yes, sir.
serious, man. They can't continue to live in the past like that. Again, it's good to reflect on it because you're gonna want to get that feeling back again. But a lot of times you're not gonna be up in these ball games. A lot of
Yeah,
times you're not gonna be getting the calls that you think you should get. They're gonna hold right there in front of referees, all right? But you gotta keep scrapping out there. You gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep staying sound and gap discipline. You got to hold on to that rock. When the quarterback put that ball in your hands, you got to hold on to it. All right. You got to hit those holes. You got to be physical, especially at the point of attack along those trenches, which is where they're going to try to push you around at, which is where they're going to hold, punch, grab, and kick you at. You got to be disciplined. Remember
yeah.
your training. Remember your technique. All right. Keep that outside leverage for the defensive ends. For those linebackers, come down and hit those holes hard, man. Be aggressive. Be proactive in this game, not reactive.
Mhm. And basically what he's saying, he want to see some. He want to see it consistently done. A lot of teams can
Right.
get up for one game and then come out flat the next
Come on back
game.
in that
Is
game.
basically keep that intensity up. There's a big difference in being a winner and a champion, and
Oh
the
yeah.
biggest difference is that a winner wins one time, but a champion makes winning a habit. You have
Oh
to
yeah.
win over and over and over and be able to do it over and over again to get that championship. So great words, B. Let's move right along. That is the end of our pregame recap, our film study. Um, our next live show, as you know, we go live for each USC game. It'll be this Saturday. We'll be logging on, kicking off at 6 p.m. Central. The game is at 6:30 Central. You can catch it on NBC Paramount. And again, come join us, man. We have a good time. We break down the game live as it's happening, provide updates. We share what we see from a schematic standpoint, physicality, and what's going on in the game. We do allow individuals, anyone, to come in and call in and share what you see. A lot of times for the home games, we actually have viewers that's live at the game that call in, give us live shots of the stadium and the crowd and everything that's going on. We definitely appreciate everyone that be joining us and commenting and calling in and sharing your information and what you're seeing and just hanging out with us. So again, we'll be back Saturday. We'll be kicking off at 6 p.m. Central
We
for
got a
the
special guest. We got a special guest this Saturday too.
yeah, we've got a special guest, Polly Walnut, to be joining. Polly
Yeah.
Walnuts will be joining. You definitely don't want to miss that. He is a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. B, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nothing much, man. I'm just looking forward to this weekend. Continue to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of the support to all of the different platforms that show us love, from USCJ to Carter Sports to Light the Torch to Preston to Paulie Walnuts. All of the guys, if I missed anybody, I apologize. But hey, continue to subscribe, share, hit the bell for notification for when we drop. content during the week. Of course, we go live, like my running mate Chris said, on Saturdays, 30 minutes prior to the game. So we'll be logging on this Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time as our USC Trojans get ready to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Maybe for the last time, maybe not for the last time. We're not sure.
Right.
Right. So hopefully we can come out victoriously this coming Saturday.
We will come out victorious. We have to. We'll
Right.
find a way. We're gonna come out with their dog. Man, so we appreciate everybody. Again, we started our show at the first week of the season, so we're a newer show. So please continue to subscribe, like, comment on the videos, keep us in our algorithm as we continue to try to grow. We appreciate everyone and all your support. Again, Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. We'll be logging on to do our live watch for USC versus Notre Dame in South Bend to root these Trojans on to victory. But as always, to later on, ladies and gentlemen, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.